Over the past 50 years, I've studied 47 languages, and along the way, I've thought about the role of grammar in language learning. Today, I want to share my perspective on whether studying grammar is necessary, or if it can even get in the way of learning a language. Well, I see grammar as kind of a roadmap. It summarizes the patterns that exist in a language, helping us navigate and make sense of the words and structures we use. Whether we acquire grammatical awareness intentionally by studying rules or naturally through usage, one thing is clear: if you speak a language correctly, grammatically correctly, that means you know the grammar, whether you realize it or not. So the real question isn't whether grammar matters. The real question is, what is the most effective way to internalize and use the grammar of our target languages? Let's explore that. There are two main ways: explicit learning, studying grammar rules, conjugation tables, and sentence structures intentionally. And then there is implicit learning, absorbing grammar naturally through exposure, practice, and interaction. Both approaches work, but their effectiveness depends on factors like your learning style, goals, and experience with language learning. Some learners thrive when they have a clear framework to follow. Studying grammar explicitly can speed up pattern recognition, making it easier to predict how sentences are formed. It also helps prevent fossilization of errors that come from relying solely on intuition. It can also provide clarity, especially in language with complex case systems, verb conjugations, or word order rules such as Slavic or Semitic languages. However, the danger of relying too much on grammar study is getting stuck in analysis instead of actually using the language. On the other hand, many learners acquire grammar effectively through usage and exposure. This approach involves listening and reading to notice patterns in context, and mimicking correct speech without necessarily knowing why something is correct. Also, we can rely on spaced repetition and natural feedback from native speakers. This is how we all learned our first languages as children. However, the challenge is that some structures can take a long time to click without direct explanation. Over the years, I found that the best approach is a combination of both methods. Here's what I do. I get lots of exposure first. I listen and read as much as possible, even before I fully understand the grammar. I use grammar explanations as a shortcut. When I notice a pattern, I check the rule behind it. Instead of memorizing the rules in isolation, I apply them immediately. I practice and correct mistakes early. Speaking and writing helps solidify grammatical structures. The sooner I start using a language, the faster I internalize its grammar. I also seek to keep it balanced. I never let grammar study slow me down or keep me from engaging with the language. So my final thoughts are, grammar is essential, but it's not something we should obsess over at the cost of actually using the language. Instead of asking, should I study grammar? The better question is, how can I integrate grammar naturally into my learning process? By combining exposure, natural acquisition, and targeted grammar study when necessary, we can develop an intuitive understanding of our target languages, making learning both effective and enjoyable. If you would like to know more about my experience learning languages, please visit polyglotdreams.com. The link is in the description. And you can read my memoir, A Life in 30 Languages, in which I share my experiences learning languages and learning about their cultures from around the world over the past 5 decades. You can also get language learning sets, which include dual readers, for example, English, Spanish, English, Chinese, along with the audio in order to help you study more effectively. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next video.